videos to show you how to get started on the budget project and provides a way for you to check your work to ensure everything is correct or point out errors you might have so you can fix them so that you'll be able to get full credit. I'm showing this in Microsoft Excel, but Google Sheets will be, it's not doing anything unusual or complex. Google Sheets will work the same way. It may just look a little different. When you open the file, I've got it open here. The first thing you may see is a whole lot of tabs at the bottom. So I'm going to go through them quickly here. First, there's an instruction tab. So this is a narrative of the business we're creating a budget for. It gives you the background of the business. Throughout the narrative, it references the input sheet instead of giving specific details for parts of these. That's the next sheet. The input sheet lists the price of materials, the price of labor, the quantity you're expecting to produce, and so on. For all of your budgets, you'll reference the cells on this input sheet rather than typing in numbers anywhere. Didn't go to the other input sheet. Anywhere where you need, say, the selling price of silkscreen shirts in cell B3 or the estimated number of shirts to be sold in the different quarters, you're not going to input those numbers. You're going to reference the cells here on the input sheet. That way, once you finish the budget, you could change the assumptions on this sheet one time, and your budget will reflect all those changes throughout. It'll be so much faster and easier than redoing every single budget to reflect any change in one or more of the assumptions. So to be very clear, no part of any of your budgets should you be inputting numbers. The input sheet is the only place specific numbers should be input. All budgets are going to be created either referencing cells on this sheet or one of the other sheets, or entering formulas. You have the grading sheet to give you an idea of what an incorrect budget will cost in terms of points deducted. But as I mentioned, there's going to be a checkpoint that you can do to make sure that you don't have any points deducted if you find errors through the checkpoint and fix them. After this starts the project. First, it's an opinion question. Then question 2, you're creating your first budget, the sales budget. Notice it's been started for you. Now, if you look in each of the cells that have been completed for you in under quarter 1, look in the formula bar up at the top, and notice I didn't input 9,000. What's there is a reference to cell B6 on the input sheet. If you're not sure how to do that, I'm going to do it for quarter 2. Look at the selling price under quarter 1. Again, I didn't input the number. It's a reference to cell B3 on the input sheet. And of course, the third one is just a multiplication of cell B9 times B10. So let's do quarter 2 cells. I'm not going to input any numbers, but I'm going to reference the input sheet. So I do an equal sign, and then I can click the input sheet tab, and it's the second quarter, year 1, so I'm clicking on cell B7 and hit enter, and there it is. And you'll notice it's the sheet name inputs and then B7, cell B7. So the unit selling price, I'll do the same thing, equal, come over to the input sheet, click B3, enter. And then I'll just do the total there, C9 times C10, and enter. And you'll finish that out with quarter 3 and quarter 4. Now make sure as you're going through this, you save your work often and almost immediately, and then often. That way, if something happens, electricity goes out, computer crashes, you won't have to redo the whole thing. So let's move to question 3. Question 3 is the schedule of expected collections from customers. Question 2, the sales budget, that's the revenue that you earn from selling shirts. But if you sell shirts on credit, which we do, we get the cash later. The expected cash collections budget details when are we going to collect our credit sales from our customers. Now, if you look at the input sheet, you'll see two assumptions related to cash collections. Two percentages: cash collected in a quarter of the sale, cash collected in a quarter following the sale. Right now it's 75% and 25%. So that's saying 75% of your quarter one revenue will be collected in quarter one, 25% would be collected in the next quarter, quarter two. Or if we're talking about quarter two revenue, 75% is collected in quarter two and 25% in the following quarter, quarter three, and so on. Notice the two add up to 100%. So let's go to our question 3, our cash collections. It's started for you. Notice what's in first quarter sales collected in quarter one. That's the column B. It says question 2, B11 times input sheet B13. So question 2, B11, that's your quarter one sales, 162,000. Input sheet B13 is that 75%. So it's taking whatever's on the sales budget for quarter one total revenue, multiplying it by the first percentage that's collected in the quarter of the sale. Now if we move over one, this is still the row is first quarter sales collected in quarter two, that's column C. Question 2B11, that's first quarter revenue, total revenue, times input cell B14, that's that second percentage, the 25%. Okay, so let's get you started on second quarter sales. So the next row down, second quarter sales collected in which quarter? Now, second quarter sales, you can't collect anything in quarter one because in quarter two sales haven't even happened by quarter one. So quarter two sales are going to be collected in quarter two and quarter three. Some in quarter two, some in quarter three. Just like first quarter sales were collected in quarter one and two. Only now we're shifting over a quarter. So second quarter sales, we're going to do an equal sign, and we're going to take the total for quarter two revenue times, and then on the input sheet, that first percentage, because quarter two sales in quarter two, that's the quarter of the sale, 135,000. Then I'll let you finish from here, but you'll do quarter two revenue collected the following quarter is going to be what's collected in quarter three. And then, of course, in the third quarter, you'll be working with quarter 3 and 4 there, fourth quarter, quarter 4, and what's collected in the following quarter would be out here, if we had the following quarter or the next year. But basically, that's your accounts receivable. Not basically, it is your accounts receivable. Okay, and of course, you want to come down here and add a formula to add up, just like I did in here, columns 9 or rows 9 through 13, and so that'll be the same all the way across. Now I mentioned the beauty of this, using the input sheet, referencing the input sheet instead of actually hand inputting numbers, is we can change those assumptions and it'll flow through. So just as an illustration here, let's say I change that to $19, the selling price. There on my question 2, my budget, it's now 19. Of course, the totals have changed there. And because it's different total revenues, the numbers have changed here. It's still that 75-25% collection pattern, just based off of different totals from question 2. And of course, we could change the 75 into 25% as well. So let me back out of that and get back to the original numbers. So it looks like what you're doing there. Now we can move to the shirt purchases budget on question 4. Now, just to repeat it again here, every sale you should be referencing either another sale and it may be on the input sheet, it may be on some other budget, it may be a combination of those, or making some calculation. don't be making any manual calculations or with a calculator and inputting specific numbers. Now you can do that to check that your formulas and your cell references are correct, but you're not hand inputting any numbers. Question 5 is another budget. Question 6 is another budget. Question 7 is another budget. And of course, question 8 and 9 are going to be other budgets as well. Now, I stopped here because I did make one exception to that requirement: no inputting numbers. If you come down here for depreciation, actually, my mistake. I give this to you, and I didn't hand input those numbers, so never mind. The rule still stands. But I did do depreciation for you. It does reference the input sheet, and you'll see that on question 8, the silkscreen budget as well. I gave you those just because I didn't want you to have to go through the calculation. It's not really complex, but not super simple to figure out those amounts. So those are there for you. So we get through question 8, we go to question 9, another budget, income statement budget. Now I give you the cost of goods sold number here. You still need to do the sales number above it, but I give you this one, and it's actually referencing down here, a section here, where these are already given to you as well. So do not mess with or change cell B8 up at the top, or the 4 cells down at the bottom. They will calculate automatically based on what you do. Now, if you make an error somewhere else, these will be wrong, but you wouldn't fix it here. You'd fix other budgets elsewhere, and this will work correctly for you. The cash budget then, question 10, is next, and I gave you one number there. You don't have to, don't change that. Most of this will reference other budgets that you've created, or be subtotals where you calculate a formula. And then you'll finish with your budgeted balance sheet. I gave you some numbers already. Don't change those. Just where there's something does not exist, you will need to complete that. And then you'll finish. There is no question 11. I deleted that. And didn't change the numbering here. But you've got question 13 and question 14, 2 questions that you'll complete. Then you have the last tab that describes a way to check yourself. This is optional, but it's highly recommended. First, save your work if you haven't already done so recently. The instructions here are how to check your work. Now, they do mention creating a copier file, so changes you make won't affect your original work. You'll still have your original work. Now, feel free to do that, but it isn't really needed. It also mentions submitting just one of those 2 files. So really, you don't need to make a copy. You can use your original file to do the check. You're not going to be making drastic changes and messing up your work. But if it makes you more comfortable, go ahead and make a copy and use that copy to do your check here. That way, if something does happen, you can go back to your original file. But all you're going to need to submit is one file saying this is the one that's good and works. So here's what you'll do to check yourself. You want to change the inputs on your input sheet to match those that you see here on my screen or in your checkpoint tab, which is the same. Change the inputs to match these. Some are the same, some are different. Now I tried to yellow highlight the ones that should be different. I could have made an error and highlighted this one, so it might be a good idea to check all the assumptions to make sure yours match what you see here or what you see on your checkpoint sheet. Once you make those changes, you just need to check each of your budgets with the ones that I'm about to show you here. If you did yours correctly, it'll match mine. If yours are different, you've done something wrong and you need to fix the error. And hopefully you can see what's right and what's wrong and can troubleshoot and figure out what needs to be changed. After you've made a good, honest attempt, if you can't figure something out, I just can't figure out what I did wrong, what to change to make it right, you can contact me for help. So pause the video now, change your input sheet to match what you see on the checkpoint tab, which is the same thing that's on the screen here. Once you do that, resume the video and compare each of the budgets to what I'll show. Pause the video as needed to check each one, because I'll go more quickly than you can check. But you can pause, check them, and then any that don't match, see what's different, fix it. After a good attempt, you can't fix it, contact me for help. I think for most of them, you'll be able to tell what you did incorrect. Then resume the video and move to the next one. Do that until you get through all the budgets, everything's correct, then you can save the file, you can submit it. Okay, here we go. Here's your check, your inputs as they're changed. And here is your sales budget. Pause, check yourself. When it's good, resume, or if it's not good, fix it and resume. So there's your sales budget. Here's the schedule of expected cash collections from customers. Then we have our shirt purchases budget. Our schedule of expected payments for purchases. Our labor budget. The selling and administrative expense budget. The overhead expense budget. The budgeted income statement. The cash budget. This one probably potentially took the longest. It's worth the most points. So you want to make sure this one is as correct as you can get it. Remember, come to me for help. If you can't get it correct yourself completely, I can help you. Then the budgeted balance sheet. And that brings us to the end of those. The only thing left is a couple of questions. So fix those. When each one is exactly as you saw here, you know you did it correctly. I could change any and all of those inputs, and it would all still work. If you need assistance, have questions, please ask.